Hi, and welcome to this ASMR video. We are going to be walking around the Titanic. The Titanic ship. This was made in Unreal, the Unreal Engine. And we're gonna talk a bit about that, and as we walk through, and it's also meant to be just relaxing, listening to me talk through this walkthrough video. I'm just going to tell you what I like and what I found interesting, and just in general, like facts about the Titanic. So I hope you enjoy this, and give me a like if you really did, and don't forget to subscribe if you feel inclined. So right now we are walking through the boiler rooms, where the coal was shoveled, and this game is just absolutely amazing in the attention to detail. I'm not a full-on Titanic specialist, so I'm not 100% sure of the architectural layout of the place, but I think they've really nailed it. These guys know what they're doing. So this game, it started off as Titanic Honor and Glory, which is it was a demo that came out a few years ago. It's been made by a few developers working on it. It's a really interesting game, from the looks of things, and I've watched the development over the years, and they've gotten better and better. Each time they've released a demo, it's been more incredible looking, and now they have released a Unreal version of the ship made in the Unreal Engine. The Unreal Engine is a game engine software that allows you to make games and other things, cinematics and stuff. The great thing about this software is the realness in it. I've never seen anything like this amazing in video games, and it's just going to get better, it seems. The attention to detail of every little thing, down to the boxes we've got here, and the sacks, the rivets in the walls, the lights. I think the big thing in this game, in Unreal software, is the lighting. That has really been a game changer, and it's got to the point where sometimes you don't know if you're looking at something that's real or unreal. Hence, I guess that's where the name came from. I've tried to learn the Unreal myself. It's a pretty steep learning curve, to be honest. But it is the future. They're using it for a number of things. They're using it as in television shows and movies, as backgrounds. instead of green screen, and it's having really amazing results. As you can see here, we are now in the kitchen. I don't think I explored everything that is available in the game. There might be a few rooms and sections that I had failed to find, but a lot of the ship is available in this trial version thing that you can download. I'll leave the game in the description just so you can download it for yourself. It is quite large, but and does require quite a bit of computing power, but it's very interesting to walk around. I think from memory, the game, the goal is to make a full version of this fully explorable Titanic. And I heard that it's like it does involve the sinking, which I don't know how these guys are going to pull that off. But you can see some pretty amazing videos already of like actual minute by minute sinking videos. But just to be able to be playing that would be incredible. It would be both thrilling and horrifying. I guess we should talk about the actual ship, Titanic. So we're in the Turkish baths now. It's incredible, just the level of detail here, from the patterns to the floor. Everything here is just incredible. I still don't know have my bearings really when it comes to the Titanic. Such a huge ship, and very easy to get lost in. I know some people might be saying the Titanic is reasonably small compared to the ships we have today, but the ships we have today don't have the same kind of majestic quality. I think they're more like skyscrapers. They don't have that same feel as the Titanic did, and the same kind of specialness, I guess. And I really think that the Titanic, it looked beautiful in its design. It was just a beautiful looking ship. And I think because the whole sinking on its maiden voyage, it's really sealed its fate in the history books, and it's why it's fascinating to keep coming back to the ship. And every year I kind of have that interest that builds up in me, that I have to go and research more about the Titanic, find out things that I might not have known before. This year in particular, I was going to release this video earlier, but around April, but I had to send in my computer for a repair and everything to be able to play this game. The graphics require quite a lot of power. I think they'll be able to fix that in the future, because this Unreal software just keeps, with every release, just gets stronger and more magnificent. You can really do some great camera moves in this, that it looks like you're on the set of Titanic. It's that real feeling. And the staircase especially, I think in this whole demo, my favourite bit is the staircase, and just look at that shot. That beautiful detail that's here. And it's my favourite location anyway, the grand staircase. And yeah, the more you walk around the ship, the more familiar you become with it. But it's still a monster of a ship to get around, and there are different sections, and they all look vastly different to each other. As you get up, you go from third class to first class. The difference is quite substantial. I love the look, the colour and everything of this. It's incredible. The one thing I would have liked was for it to be able to play this at night. That would be extra special, I think, with all the lights on and everything. It would just look spectacular. The stars in the sky. So for this year, in celebrating the Titanic, I went on YouTube and looked up a number of interviews with survivors of the Titanic. I think this was recorded in the late 50s, early 60s, I guess, these interviews with the survivors. And it's quite extraordinary, listening to the tales of different classes of people and how they managed to get out. And there was the videos are on YouTube. They're pretty easy to find, but they're really, really interesting stories of survival from people who otherwise they would have had no shot of survival in a lifeboat. They just managed to, just be it fate and being extremely lucky. The most amazing story that I heard was from a man named Frank Prentice, and his situation on the boat, as it was sinking, he was helping people into lifeboats, but then all the lifeboats had gone, because of course there wasn't enough lifeboats on the deck of the Titanic to save everyone. So it was women and children first, and the men were basically screwed. I'm just taking in the visuals of this. It's just incredible to be on the deck of the Titanic and to look out into the sky and the vast ocean that's around you. Everything, the little details. The details of the ripples on the water, the smoke coming out the chimneys, or whatever you say, the smokestacks, or the deck chairs. I've seen the film so many times that a number of different Titanic films. So you do, when you're playing the game, you go, oh, that's where this is, and yes, this looks familiar, and if I walk down this way, I will end up here. Very, very special to be able to play this, and which I'd like to thank the developers for just doing an amazing job on this game. So I'm getting back to Frank Prentice. As the ship was sinking towards the end, he went up to the stern, and he said he was, as the ship was almost vertical, he was hanging onto the sign at the end saying, "Beware of propeller blades." He was hanging onto the side of the ship, and eventually he had to let go, and he fell 100 feet, barely missed the propeller blade, and he was lucky he didn't hit anything in the water as he landed, but even so, that fall would have been tremendous. He was lucky he survived that, and even, being in the water, you don't have very long before hypothermia sets in, so he didn't have very long at all. But it was just lucky that I think there was a lifeboat nearby, and he fell in the water at the right time. Because we have to remember that in the end, a lot of people went into the water, and only 7, I think, were rescued. And even people who did make it into the lifeboat, some died from, I don't know, shock, hypothermia. It was horrible. It's particularly interesting going up to the captain's deck and everything. It's incredible. Again, where Captain Smith was. And you can see that there's a lot of corridors that look the same, and it's very easy to get mixed around. Especially, that's why the 97 Titanic is such a thrilling movie, because when Rose has to rescue Jack and everything and go down through to the belly of the ship, it just seems like that's what the tension is. It's the horror of everything in a state of chaos, and you're trying to find your way around things, and everything's flooding. Everything looks the same. You don't know if you've been down this corridor before, or if you're going the right way. It's very disorientating, especially in that situation. I think if they can manage to make a game out of this, it's going to be incredible. It's what every Titanic aficionado would love to experience. I was looking into if they do real transatlantic ship tours that go the same route of the Titanic. I'm not sure if they do. I'm pretty sure, why wouldn't you? That this would be a normal route to take. I'm sure ships take that route all the time. I think I would just love to, be in the exact spot where it sunk. Roughly, I guess they know roughly where it is. But it's one of those things. It's one of those disasters that in history that I never get bored of reading about. The tragedy is that it was being reckless is what caused the sinking and so many other unfortunate mishaps, such as the binoculars being either they were locked in a box and no one had the key, or they were misplaced on the ship or something. There was only one set and it was misplaced. That would have surely helped. The conditions of the night, it was a moonless night. The ocean was very flat, so it wasn't easy to see icebergs. So they didn't really have, and the speed they were going was another factor. And of course they ignored a number of ice warnings. The Carpathia, I always get those two mixed up, the California and the California, and the Carpathia. One was close by, it could have made it, but they switched their radio transmission off, so they didn't take any notice, and they even saw the rockets come up from the Titanic, and they didn't go. Of course, the ship that eventually did come to pick up the survivors, it took about 4 hours. So by the time they got there, the Titanic had sunk. There's been a number of other videos and things saying, if the ship had struck the iceberg head on, it might have survived. I like that theory. Who knows, really, to be honest. What you would have had seconds to react to this and to turn a gigantic ship like that. It was just too much. Running out of things to talk about, I guess. I hope you're enjoying this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I'd love to make more videos on this when more features come out. I'm pretty sure there will be more, really soon, because I don't even think they were using Unreal to make this game. I could be wrong, but people are amazing at what they're able to create in Unreal these days. I'm still trying to get my head around it. trying to use the software to make stuff for myself, but it is a pretty steep learning curve. So we're on the deck, the stern, whereabouts Frank Prentice was when it sunk. It's also the story of the ship's baker. He survived. He was one of the survivors who actually went into the water and survived because he had drunk quite a lot of alcohol before going in, because I guess he knew he was doomed, so he thought, I would have done the same thing. I think I wouldn't have, drowning would have been horrible, absolutely horrible. I'm sure there were people still stuck in the ship when it sunk. And, the sounds of the ship going into the water, that's another thing that those minute by minute videos of the sinking are really good at. They include all sounds of the screaming, and what you would have heard, it would have been atrocious. And just the sounds of the ship buckling and things crashing, and just a nightmare situation, really. And even you read about stories of Titanic survivors. There was one lady, I think she was a nurse or something, and she survived the Titanic sinking and the sinkings of the sister ships. Okay, now we're in kind of the rich areas, first class staterooms, mostly from the film where Rose was staying, where Jack painted her and all that. Still an amazing film. I know a lot of people bag it, but I saw it just a few months ago again at the movies, because it was in 3D. I think it was the 25th anniversary of the movie coming out. It just gets you every time, or gets me every time. I think that very last scene is what gets me. The music, James Horner's incredible music, and the emotion, and just the journey that you've been on for the last 3 hours. If you watch it from start to beginning to end, really is an emotional film. I don't cry a lot to movies, but I always cry at the end of Titanic. As I said before, that music at the end, it's just, when you go down to the wreck, I'm sure you've seen the film. If you're watching this video, when they go down to the very last scene, when they go down through the wreck, and the wreck slowly comes back to life after almost 100 years, and everyone from Rose's past on the ship are there. Of course, Cal isn't. Cal Hockley. But all the nice characters in the film are there. So it's just one of the best endings to a film, I think. This game, I've said so much about it. I can't stop raving about how incredible the graphics look and the movement, camera movement. Imagine if this whole ship was populated with passengers. That would be crazy. I also think, I don't know, it would be quite crowded, I think. If you're trying to play a game, it would be... there'd be a lot of people. It'd be hard to get around the ship, to be honest. So I will wrap it up here. And just want to thank you for sticking around. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you very much. And please check this game out. I'll leave the link in the description. But otherwise, thank you so much for listening to me talk about the Titanic. And happy bon voyage.